Okay, well, welcome to our first lasting leader that we're going to feature in this class. And this is Herb Kelleher, the founder of Southwest Airlines. Uh, there's a lot of legends out there about Herb, and he was kind of funny guy. I admire him a whole lot. And I was really introduced to who he was during not a conference, a training I took in Philadelphia. I would say it was in 2004. So it was 21 years ago. And it was Wharton Business School's list of lasting leaders. This is where I came up with the whole idea of designing this course, actually, is from that training about the concept of lasting leadership. Bringing in philosophy to it was just something I've always wanted to do. I thought it'd be helpful for learners, just dig into philosophy a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and synthesize that with leadership and the like and leadership theories. So now that we're at week 6, let's talk about leaders. So we're just focusing on Herb Kelleher. And I would say, and I think the author does here too, to a certain degree, that Herb Kelleher was a servant leader. So he basically, as it is legendary wise, created Southwest Airlines or the concept on a cocktail napkin. That was the whole idea. And in the formative stages of the organization, he was huge on making sure that he walked around, talked to the employees, knew the employees, made sure that he approached them and they were able to approach him, although he was the leader. Sometimes when you get into higher levels of leadership, it's difficult to get out of your box because there's so much to do. I get that, but he was a big fan of that. One legend was they had an employee appreciation picnic, and he invited everyone to come. And the night shift employees said, "Well, we'd love to come, but we're sleeping because we work nights." So Herb rolled out some grills and grilled burgers for them during the night shift. That's one example. He created this culture where it was very, very, very friendly. In fact, the idea is the love of customers. In fact, their ticker symbol for stock, I think, is LUV. It's LUV or LOV. Either way, anyway. So the whole concept was about high levels of customer service and having creative people who, share the same vision. I would say, as far as that love and care for customer service and the like. So um, there's another legend that the culture was so deep into this whole concept of high levels of customer service, being friendly, energetic, enthusiastic, and this is what Herb portrayed as a servant leader. Again, servant leaders tend to look at their job as a service, not to be subservient, by the way, but as a service to help people be the best they can be. So there was this scenario where they had interviews for pilots, and the air conditioner broke in the lobby or whatever. And the one pilot, they're all dressed in their pilot outfits and all that. And the one pilot said, "Wow, it's really hot in here." And the secretary said, "Here's some Bermuda shorts if you want to wear them." And he went in and wore the Bermuda shorts. He's the one that got hired because that was the kind of person they wanted flying the airplane, someone who thinks like they do. During a 9/11, there was issues, of course, with flights and the economy and a lot of trouble there. But what Herb did was he said, "I didn't want to lay anyone off." He did cut the salaries a little bit, but he invested the money for them for returns and all that. But all throughout this time, even before, it was all centered upon how they as a team can work together to keep the planes in the air. The simple concept is the more times we take off, the more money we make. So we have to do anything we can to reduce delays and get people where they need to go. To the point, and this is another legend, where Herb um, Herb had this culture, so linked well together that when luggage employees were behind, the pilots would get out and help, just to keep things moving along. So that's another good example about how a servant leader can influence additional servant leaders. Understanding the issue is to get the job done. It's not just about I'm this rank, I'm that rank. And the final legend I want to share with you, and one of my favorite, and this is very important for you as leaders, especially if you adopt the servant leadership principle, is that it's important to walk around. It's important to get to know your employees. It's important to understand where they're coming from. Again, sometimes it can be real difficult to see that from your higher, level office on the top floor or whatever. So one day, one of his executives said, "You take the opinions of the janitor more seriously than do your own executives." And Kelleher said, "That's because their opinion is more important than yours." And he was not saying that they were lousy executives. What he was saying was, you should be doing this too, perhaps. And I found that very inspiring for me, especially working in training administration at a hospital where I would regularly walk around. I'd talk to dietary, laundry, the certified nursing assistants, housekeeping, etc., because their opinions are important. I sit with these blokes who are here and there in these meetings, and all that policy, this, that, training, blah, 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 blah. But if you really want to know what's going on, look to the front lines, listen to them, talk to them, let them talk. So, number one principle, as putting it out in this Forbes article, is to be interested. Be interested in the thoughts and feelings of your employees. I don't care if they're the lowest ranked employee in the world or whatever it is, they have insight. You need to extract that insight. It's very important to do that. Be approachable. Be the person people want to approach with challenges, opportunities, ideas. If you're not approachable, a lot of ideas will die, or someone will vote with their feet, leave for another organization, and they'll manifest those ideas elsewhere. So be open, be approachable. It's a big thing. All right, next. Look beyond title and status. I'm a big fan of that too. Um, a lot of times we get a certain position and we think we're stuck. Well, I'm the manager of XYZ organization. I'm the senior manager. Hell, you know what? Just because you're in that position doesn't mean you know everything. As a matter of fact, as you move up in the world there, you might start to know very little if you don't keep your ears to the, pavement there, eyes to the pavement, whatever that analogy is. Who cares? But the idea is to get out there and just really look at what's going on. So, the idea here is, look beyond that title and status. I'm very much a big fan of that as well. And best thing you can do is manage by walking around. Even in my position here, you're on campus, you'll see me walk around, say hello, talk to people. I want to get to know people. I want to know what the students need or what colleagues need. How can I help? That's the servant leader attitude. So going back what I said before about the guy in the Bermuda shorts in the job interview, hire for attitude, train for skill. Individuals with will are much hungrier, much more capable. They have the desire, the yearning, and if they need some skills training, that's fine. But if you hire someone with the not so good attitude or whatever, you're going to get complacent. You're going to get stagnant. So go for the can-do attitude. You need great people to build a great company. That's all there is. Put employees first, customers second. Oh my goodness. As a servant leader, why would we do this? I thought customers were first. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. If you go ahead and you look at any organization and you see problems with the employees, that's symptomatic of another problem. Think of it like you have the sniffles, and your sinuses are stuffed, and you have a low-grade fever, etc. Those are symptoms. You go to the doctor, and there's a higher level issue. It could be the flu or whatever, right? So that when it comes to organizations, what you're seeing in the front is a symptom of something much larger. I've seen that a lot. So I always say, well, the employees aren't doing what they're supposed to do. What's going on with who? Leadership. They're responsible for everything that happens. Despite some individuals trying to blame everyone else in their leadership role. No, you're the boss. You're the one who's accountable for everything. Whoever said they wanted to get in management, right? Okay. So putting employees first, making them your primary customer, many posit will help them be the best they can be for the customers. So you create that Herb Kelleher type of environment where you place employees first, and then that will rub off with the customers. If that doesn't happen, chances are customer satisfaction scores will go down. There's issues, and then they'll go, "Why are we getting lower ratings than usual?" Well, you could go ahead and blame it on the employees. Okay, you can do that. But what about leadership? Trying to explain that to a leader in my former role as a training administrator, kind of touchy. I'm not saying it's but you present certain evidence to them after a while and say, well, maybe we need to change our approach on how we're working with the employees. It's not always about money. It's not always about benefits, although that's important, but it's also about the attitude that you have as a leader. Going back to the previous thing here, hire for attitude, right? And the way you carry yourself that makes a big difference in how the employees function. Okay. Yeah, avoid office politics. Be yourself and allow people to be themselves. Uh, okay, that's a good one. I want people to be themselves. I'd like them to have a certain degree of autonomy. In the video below, if you look at this article, they show a flight attendant rapping the safety briefing. So this gives a lot of entertainment for the customers. This employee's having fun, and it's on YouTube, so that's kind of cool. The idea is let him be himself. How do you want to go ahead and announce the safety information on the airplane? Well, I'm going to rap it. Okay, so he did. That's great. So I think that's pretty hilarious to let people be themselves. Let them be themselves, and it doesn't mean let them go crazy and throw I don't know chairs all over the place, but I mean it's just in general purposes. The idea would let them be themselves, and that's good. And you be yourself as well. Be trustworthy. As a leader, it's very difficult to gain trust, and it's so easy to lose it. So do what you say you're going to do, say what you mean, and your employees will respect you for that. Oh, goodness. All right. I'm going to stop from here after this one. Leave your ego at the door. Well, sometimes what happens with individuals is that their ego gets inflated because of a rank, a position, and all that. In fact, in the doctoral program, and this doesn't always happen, by the way, they tell you when you finish is that your job is to be humble. Your job is to act as if you don't know anything and to go with a clean slate and seek further knowledge. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. And be humble. Some do it, some don't do it. I hope I'm humble. But the idea is you have to leave that ego at the at the door. You need to walk away from that because once you go ahead and you make decisions based on your rank or your education, you're missing out. You're missing out as a leader. Just because you're the manager doesn't mean you're all knowing. Just because you're the manager doesn't mean that you can make all the right decisions. That's why you have employees. That's why, based on Kelleher's servant leadership approach, you want to go out there and extract information from everyone. Again, everyone is important. It's not a matter of ranks. It's about what employees do in the nature of their job and how they contribute to the organization. And most employees have good information to share. Some of it might be relevant, some might not be relevant, but you still want them to share. The moment you or someone strikes someone down in a negative way, ridicules them and the like, is the moment they will never share again. So you need to leave that ego at the door. So I will leave you to review the articles regarding Kelleher. And we don't have an assignment this week, but next week, after we review Damon John, we have a comparative research paper. And this is you're going to compare and contrast the servant leadership and transformational leadership styles. Okay. And then what you're going to do is create a synthesis. A synthesis is a combination. So, all right, the simplest synthesis I could come up with is you take an apple, throw it in a juicer. You have apple juice. Lovely. Take a pear, put it in the same juicer. Now you have apple and pear juice. I don't know if that would taste good or not, but the idea is juice, okay? It's two different fruits to create one juice. So the idea is what you can do here, you have the opportunity to go ahead and blend the best practices of servant leadership with transformational leadership, put it together, and basically create your own takeaway, your own theory, your own concept. What do you think works? What would you like to pair with servant leadership and transformational leadership? Okay. And you can apply these into practice as a leader. So, for instance, if you go to a job interview and they ask, what is your leadership style? You can say, well, you know what? Central Penn, I took this course and we did a comparative research paper. And part of that assignment was to kind of synthesize two theories. So I have a hybrid approach to servant leadership and transformational leadership. And here's how it works. They're going to love you for that. So, again, this is also for your career. If you have any questions, reach out. I'll help you with it. I'll coach you. If you have an interview coming up, let me know. No problem. I'll help you with it. So, just make sure you have 2 pages and reference page. And how many sources do you have here? Yeah, cite your sources within the paragraphs, and as well as a APA reference page. So anyway, I'm excited for you. This is going to be a great week. See you on the boards.